Okay. So this is Check Hook, and I wanted to do a video quickly. Well, maybe not quickly, but I wanted to go over um, the election stuff. And I'm gonna try and be as kind of impartial as possible. I just want to show data that points to what's kind of going on and why it's a little bit wonky. And if you're a Republican, you got to be pretty concerned. But if you're also a Democrat, I think you also have to be concerned. I mean, um, I kind of look at it as like a baseball game where there's a call, or even a football game where there's a call and there's two teams, and it's pretty much the World Series, or the Super Bowl. And I think on one hand, if I watch the Yankees, and if the Yankees are playing and they're winning, and whatever, it's tied, not even winning, but let's say it's tied, and something happens, and they win, but it was an error by the ump or something, he missed the call. Of course I'm going to be happy that the Yankees won, but you're going to see that it's a missed call, and you know you're going to see replays over and over and over, and you're going to be like, man, I know they won, but man, that they missed that call. So on the other side, you're going to say to yourself, man, it's like, we should have won that. The ump or the ref or whoever missed the call, and yeah, we should have won it. And of course, you're going to have uh, kind of people upset on both sides. But anyway, so one of the things that I kind of wanted to look at, and there's a few things, and there's videos out there, and I think what I'll do is I'll probably put some of the links in the description, where you can kind of just find out basic stuff, and kind of where I pulled some of this from. So the first thing I kind of want to show is this. It's called Benson's Law, um, and let me see how I can. Let me see. I'm gonna. Here we go. Can I? Nope, I can't do it that way. Um, Let me open it with where is it? Open with. Where'd it go? Oh, here it goes. We'll open it with that, so I can kind of zoom in a bit. 100%. Okay. So Benford's law. So basically, the gist of it is that you have the numerals 1 through 9, and generally in any kind of data set, a large quantity of numbers, the number one is going to appear most frequently 30% of the time, followed by number two, which is about 18%, three, which is, so on and so forth. And it kind of just scales down to where nine is the least. So this has been around. I mean, again, I'll link the YouTube where you can kind of look at Benford's law. So generally, any type of data set, and this is kind of, if you look at this data of publicly available financial data recorded from 2001, it follows Benford's law. Here's Enron, for example. So Benford's law would be this orange slope, and here's their financial data. You could see it kind of goes wonky here. Okay, so it goes pretty wonky here. It's not really following the law. It's kind of like a roller coaster. If you look at the votes for Biden, here's Benford's law, which are these orange bars here, and you could see the percent distribution, how it's up and down, it's like a uh, roller coaster. Now, according to Benford's law, when you have something like this, it doesn't mean there is fraud. I mean, it doesn't prove and say, yep, there's fraud, that's it, that's the end of it. What it does is that it says something's wrong, and you got to look into it. And this is what accountants use and stuff like that. That's why you see the Enron stuff is a little wonky. If you see something like this with Enron, obviously there's something going on. Um, so it just tells you, hey, look, something's wrong with this. Let's look at it. So we're going to look at, so someone ran this against Benford's law, and you could see, so here's some of Trump's stuff, okay? So Benford's law is blue, Trump is orange. And you could see it goes, there's a little thing here, but for the most part, it follows the law. And again, you could see it here. It's a little, but it follows the law. I mean, it's pretty close. It's within reason. And again, here, this almost follows it perfectly. So that checks out. Okay. Look at Biden's. Okay. So same thing for Philadelphia. Look at how it goes like a roller coaster. So it's down, goes up. This is even. So the number three is even with number one, and then it goes down. Okay. Same thing here. So Milwaukee, it's pretty much around the same. But then you get over here to Detroit. Look how wonky this goes. Whoop. It's like a roller coaster. Okay. And if you look over here again, same thing. It's doing this little thing here. Trump's conforms pretty much. Whoever this Don Blankenship again, it's fine. Joe Jorgensen, it looks pretty good. Whoever this Brian Carroll is looks pretty good. The write-ins, looks pretty good. So pretty much everyone's conforming. So out of these six, five of them are following uh, Benford's Law pretty much. Trump has a little bit of a hiccup here, but it's not really that far off. And then it goes, into a nice little slide here. But if you look at Biden, I mean, look, it dips and then goes up. It peaks, so you're going kind of like a roller coaster here. So something's going on here. Okay, don't whatever this not fraud but tree. Someone just put that in there, so I wouldn't. It is what it is. But so that's pretty much, if you look at it, that's kind of what's going on. So these are, I guess, the totals here, down here, and then this is individual here. So Philly, Milwaukee, Detroit, and then here's kind of like your stuff going on there. So this is like your totals. I mean, but you could see, I mean, Trump's gets a little bit weird here, but it's within reason. It's still going down and it follows. This is basically a loop de loop here. So if you're looking at Benford's Law, okay, and again, this is Benford's Law. You can say to yourself, well, something's a little off here. Something's not right here. Okay. Now, look, I'm not a mathematician. I'm not a statistician. I'm reading this stuff. I'm trying to kind of find out as much as possible. So, I'm just trying to explain it the best I can. But again, I'll kind of point you to the videos where you can kind of get a better explanation of what Benford's Law is. But I mean, for the most part, this is Benford's Law. It goes whoop. So number one is going to occur most. Number nine is going to occur least, and it should follow this. So that's pretty much that. Um, so again, I want to look at so we can look at this Miami-Dade. So look at Miami-Dade. Looks pretty good here. Blankenship, Trump, this everyone. So basically in Miami-Dade things were okay. Nothing really happened in Miami-Dade County, and the reason is because if you remember from the 2000 election from Gore and Bush, they were pretty much one of the times where the Supreme Court got involved and all that kind of stuff. So they had to tighten that ship. So that's why Miami-Dade looks pretty good. Now here we go to Milwaukee again. Look at this distribution. So here's the red would be Benford's Law, what it should be, and look at what Biden's doing here. Won't again roller coaster. Trump had again a little hiccup, but it's basically it's following the law almost to a T. Same with these other ones. Only Joe Biden's vote violates Benford's Law here. Okay. Pittsburgh, PA. Again, look at how wacky this is. Okay. Allegheny County. Again, he violates Benford's Law here. Now, you're talking PA, okay, and you're talking Michigan, where he's violating the law, the Benford's Law. So obviously something is going on. Now, again, I wouldn't, you don't call it fraud. I mean, it could be anything, but it deserves looking into. Okay, something is definitely up here. Um, so here's another thing I kind of wanted to look at. This is there's a Dr. Shiva. You could find him. Uh, you can find him on YouTube, and I'll open this here, and I will enhance it, of course. Okay. All right. I'm going to right now. I'm going to pause it. Okay, I am back. So, where was I? This is okay. I already did this part. Here we go. Okay. So again, like I was explaining, there's the video on YouTube from this Dr. Shiva, and basically they went through a few different counties in Michigan, I believe, and kind of came up with some stuff. So if you look at this graph here, from what I understand, if you look at this x-axis here, x and y, the further you go right, the higher um, Republican the area is. So this is an 80% Republican area, 60-40. So as you go down, you're looking at these Democratic areas here. So if you go by the notion that, well, Trump really just wasn't liked. Now, I think he had something like 94% approval rating among Democrats. So, keep that in mind. So, if you look at these blue dots here, and I think these are precincts, um, if it's above this line, basically Trump was liked a little bit more, okay, than the straight, whatever other Republicans were on the docket. So he was liked more here. So if you look at here, this is like a 5% Republican area. He was liked about 15% more. So if you go through these graphs, technically these dots should be around this line here, above or below, but around, they should hover around zero. They don't do that here. So what happens is as republicanism goes up, Trump's favorability goes down, which it doesn't make any sense, and I'll kind of show you why. So let's say this is, you're looking at a dot here, right up here is like what, 2% Republican area, and Trump was like 10% more. So you start getting these dots, and as you get past around 20%, they keep going down. So as you get into areas that are 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, up to 75% Republican, the likeness for Trump goes down, okay, which it shouldn't be. So this red line being a straight Republican ticket, this and I didn't explain it. This y-axis is basically, I guess in Michigan you can vote either straight party or you can vote just for Trump or Biden. So you can either go, I'm all Democrat, I'm all Republican, which this line represents, or you can say, you know what, I'm individually, I'm going to vote for Trump or I'm going to vote for Biden. So, well, this is where it comes in, where you could see up here in an area that was almost 40% Republican, Trump was about liked about 22, 23% more than that straight Republican ticket. Okay. So it just doesn't make sense that this would do this. And it goes from Macomb County, Oakland County, um, Kent County. So just as an example here, uh, this straight Republican line is, call it 45%, okay? And Trump is at a minus 20. So you're getting 45% of the votes from the straight Republican ticket, okay? Trump got 25% of the votes individually because 45, which is here, minus 20 is 25%. So basically, in this area where it's 45% Republican, he only got 25% of the votes. Okay. And if you want to take it a step further, you can go and say, well, this is an area that's 70% Republican. And, just for the same figure, we'll call it 20% again. Okay. So 70% minus, say, it's probably around 25%. So he only got what, 45% of the votes, and Biden would have gotten 55% in an area that's 70% Republican. So again, it just doesn't really make any sense the way this kind of goes down. Okay. And in Kent County, I think this is where I don't know where Kent County is, but I mean, you could see it's even worse. I mean, it's the same drop. Okay. Now here, this is Detroit. I think it's Wayne County. Now, Wayne County, where you could say that there was no foolishness going on. This is basically, you know, because it's not Wayne County, I guess, is not a highly Republican area. So the graph only goes up to like 35% because, I think the most Republican area in this county is probably 32%. And you could see that Trump was in this area was pretty much anywhere from 0 to, I mean, if you follow this, 20-25% more liked. And if you go for an average, it's probably about 10% according to this. So he was liked about 10% more than that straight Republican ticket. So why would Trump be liked more in an area that is, say, between 0 and 10% Republican than he would be in an area that's, say, anywhere from 40 to 80% Republican? It doesn't really make sense because he's disliked. As Republicanism increases, people just don't like him, and it wouldn't make any sense. It's you know. So anyway, that's what this pretty much is. And what they're basically saying is whatever the software, this Dominion or whatever is involved, that it's basically moving votes from Trump to Biden. And there was already evidence. I think there was 6,000 votes in one of the counties in Michigan. That was a glitch that counted 6,000 votes for Biden instead of Trump, so we switched it back. But um, that obviously something's definitely not right here. And again, this is math. This is algorithms. This is math. This is basically telling you, look, we're not saying that it's fraud, okay, but something does not add up here, okay? Something does not add up here. Okay, so I want to kind of give another example here. Let me close these out. Let me get into my folder here. I'm going to take a look at what was I going to take a look at next. Let's take a look at this here. I don't know. I didn't label these. I just kind of did this quickly, so bear with me here. Okay. So this is, and I guess I was up. Now I'm guessing most people probably during the election, I guess they stayed up till whatever. I was up till, I think it was probably maybe 2 in the morning, and I went to bed. But I mean, it was pretty much the same. So before, or I guess a lot of these places, Pennsylvania, Michigan, a lot of these places stop counting votes at 10 o'clock. Okay, so if we want to take a look at this, I'm going to actually make it a little bigger. Trump was up by, I would say, 700,000 votes in PA. Okay, polls are closed. Polls are closed. Okay, Trump was up by, oh, I don't know, what is this, about 300,000 in Georgia, uh, 300,000 in Michigan. Uh, they did Michigan again here. North Carolina, he was up by, oh, what, 80,000 something with 94% reporting in. Wisconsin, he was up by 130,000 with 82% reporting in. Now, I could tell you the next day, this gap closed big. This gap closed big. I mean, he was losing. I think he was pretty much losing everything at this point. I think even North Carolina, he might have been losing. I'm not sure. So they all stopped counting votes, okay? And now this is where you get the stories where, at 4 in the morning, there was this dump of votes. And, at 4 in the morning, I think it was in Michigan, some woman was uploading something with no observers and all that kind of stuff. Well, I don't want to kind of get into the observer stuff. I'm just looking into the math kind of stuff, but you could see the numbers here. I mean, these are pretty big numbers, especially in PA. Absolutely ridiculous. When I went to bed, and I remember he was up by this margin. I'm like, well, he's got PA. I'm thinking, I'm like, well, I'm thinking also, I'm like, Georgia's in the bag. Um, I think Michigan and Wisconsin were still pink, so it was leaning. Um, and again, North Carolina, I remember it being a little bit closer than I thought. But I'm like, well, he's got to have it because it's pretty much almost all in. There's no way Biden can get it. And I think as of even today, they still didn't call North Carolina yet, which is weird. So there's kind of that part. Now I kind of want to show something that's a little interesting as well. So I'm going to open up this here, and this is Florida. Okay, now everyone was saying that it was pretty much neck and neck in Florida. I think at most they might have had Trump +2 in Florida, something like that. And if you want to take a look, this is weird. So if you look at the results here, Trump won by what was it, 1.2% in 2016. Now look at the blue versus the red and all that kind of stuff. And Trump here won almost by 4%. It was 3.4%. Yeah, 3.4%. No, yeah, 3.4%. So he pretty much almost tripled. I would say double and a half what he did with Clinton. But you could see, like for example, Miami Dade. I wouldn't say he didn't turn it. Obviously, I mean Democrats won it, but I mean he brightened it up. He got it to a light blue, and that's I think the Cubans and stuff. But he did a little worse here. He did a little worse in this little thing here. Did better here. So you can see there's some areas, but for the most part, I mean, this. I think the notion that minorities were not voting for Trump. I think Trump got the most votes by Hispanics and blacks. I think of any president, Republican president. Well, I don't know about other, but for the most part, he did really well. Let's just say that way. I don't have numbers, but we'll just say he did very well. And again, I want to look at Ohio too, because Ohio is another kind of area to look at. I mean, you look at the red here and the red here and the blue and the blue. I mean, he completely destroyed Ohio. I mean, he flipped Youngstown. He flipped. Cleveland pretty much remained the same, but this whatever is next to Cleveland, he flipped. Toledo remained the same. Dayton went a little bit blue. And Cincinnati kind of stayed the same. But you could see a lot of these red went dark red. A lot more dark red here. So he completely killed Ohio. And I think this would be like the first election where a president who won Florida, Ohio, and North Carolina lost the election. I mean, there's so many firsts, it doesn't even make sense. Okay. So here's, I want to take a look at another one here. I don't remember which is which here. Okay, this one here. I want to take a look at this one here. Okay. Okay, Georgia. So this is kind of a little funky here, okay? Ballots where the voter only voted for the president, okay? There were 818 ballots for Trump, okay, that were only for Trump. 95,000 for Biden, okay? Ballots where the voter voted for the president and at least one other. So there's Trump here. He's winning, and, there's the difference right here by. How do you get this kind of a difference? Okay. Now, when I filled out my ballot, I filled out for the whole ticket. I mean, I had the mail-in ballot. I had time. I wasn't rushing. I went through it. I looked at the issues. I went online, kind of figured out, well, some of the issues were like, well, should I be voting this way? Should I not be voting with this way? So I wanted to make sure I was voting for what the So I voted for the Republican side, and then whatever the issues were, like I think they voted with legalizing pot. I voted against that. There was something else, some kind of homes for veterans, like something for veterans. I voted for that because that's and then there was something else in there. I forget what it was. There is no way. Now this guy comes in and says, "Well, that's explainable. This is a measure of how many people detest Trump." Well, that's not true, because if you look at the other, if you look at President the approval, he was 94% approval rating with Republicans. So, but even if people didn't like Trump, if you go back to the graph that I showed you with that Shiva, okay, if people just didn't, oh shit, I don't know why it does this. It's stupid. Um, if people did not like Trump, okay, open with here, then the dots up here, these dots, okay, would be below this line, all of them, okay? And if you look at these ones, it doesn't make sense because you have heavily Democratic areas that like Trump, and then Republican areas that don't like Trump. It just doesn't make sense. So I think that argument's kind of, you could throw that out the window because again, it doesn't really hold water to me. And the fact that this is so different. I mean, I can understand if this was maybe 2 or 3 thousand, but 90, you're talking almost 100,000 votes where people just voted for Biden and not the rest of the ticket. Why would you do that? Do you not want to keep your House seat? Do you not want to keep whatever other Democratic seats? Like, it just doesn't, like, why would you not vote for your party here? So something's definitely fishy about that. The other one I wanted to show again, and there's a few more that I didn't. So Biden had record low enthusiasm, blah 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 blah. So look at this shift from 2016. So New York City down 200,000, Chicago down 260,000, Miami down 6,000. Okay, and at 4 a.m. these cities, these cities that needed to turn, Atlanta went up 76,000, Detroit up 67,000, Milwaukee 28,000, Pittsburgh 29,000, all at 4 in the morning. So it just, again, it doesn't make any sense how, um, someone like Biden, why would he be doing so poorly in New York City and Chicago? These are heavy. Chicago especially is a heavy liberal area. I mean, you will never get a Republican in Chicago. So how did you get a shift from where Clinton was and get 260,000 less votes in Chicago when everybody hates Trump? Okay. And to kind of, add on to that, if you were to tell me that Trump was going to get 8 million more votes than 2000, so if, let's say, I'm sitting at my desk, it's 7 o'clock, election day, elections just kind of going to kick off soon, or we'll call it even 6 o'clock, whenever. I think election started at 7, I don't remember. And somebody came in and said, I'm from the future. Okay, here I am. I time traveled, and I'm going to tell you, and the only thing I'm going to tell you is that Trump got 8 million more votes than 2016. That's the only thing I'm going to tell you. What would you take away from that? I would say, well, shit, if Trump got 8 million more votes, not only did he surpass Clinton, but I think that's more than what Obama got in terms of popular vote. Because I think it was what? He was at 50, oh gosh, 50, man, I don't even remember. No, it might have been 61. I think he got 61 and Clinton got 63. Was it like that? No, because he's got 72 million. So anyway, he got 8 million more votes. So that's what somebody would kind of, from a time machine and say, hey, I would say, shit, I'm not even going to watch the election because there's no way Trump's going to lose if he's getting 8 million more votes. I mean, there's no way he can lose. You know, now say that not only did they say that, but then they came back and said, "Whoa, before you leave, I just wanted to affirm you're going to flip. I think it was 5 or 6 House seats." And we say, "Wait a second. They were projecting that we were going to get killed in the House. How did we flip 5 or 6 seats?" And then he comes and says, I think we have a 52. Is it a 52 or a 53? I think it's 50. We had a 52 um, 48 lead in the Senate, I want to say. And they're going to say, look, it's like, I have some bad news. You're only going to lose one Senate seat, okay? You're only going to lose one Senate seat. So you lose one Senate seat, but you gain 5 or 6 House seats. And Trump's going to get 8 million more votes. And I would say, you know what? It's like I'm going to go to bed. I'm going to go do something else because there's no point in sitting up and watching the election. Trump's got it. He's going to. It's a landslide. And I'm thinking to myself, shit. If he's got 8 million more votes, does he? He's probably going to flip New York at that point or Virginia. You know. So I think this is the last one that I kind of pulled. Yeah. So here it is. So they got 6 seats in the House. So they picked up 6 seats. So it's 218 to 202. I think that's it. I don't remember. I don't know what the exact numbers are, but they picked up 6 seats and they lost one. So I think there's one more to go. And no wait, includes two independents. I don't know. So 30. So I don't know if there's something's up, but I know we at least maintained. I mean, it's at least and so we got it here. Okay, it's pretty much there. So I mean, a lot of evidence here. Um, you know, number one, Benford's Law. This is something that's been kind of this, and again, they use this in accounting firms and stuff to kind of pick up, little things that hey, something just doesn't really look right, and you could see that most of Biden's stuff, if not all of it, does not follow it. Now he does follow it in like I think in like certain areas where it doesn't seem like much really happened, but I mean you're talking very heavy Democratic areas. Um, so yeah, I mean it's no, I think I got. I don't know what this one is here. Let me take a look and see what I picked up here. Oh, okay. So yeah, this is Trump is no longer popular among Republicans. So this is what it would look like. Okay. So if you went through that argument where I showed you where the guy was telling Sarah Huckabee Sanders, well, Trump's just not popular with Republicans anymore. They're jumping ship. This is what the it would look like because everybody would be below that line. You would see it below. This is a red flag, is what he's saying here. And again, this decline of dislike of Trump with increase of percentage of Republican precincts makes no sense unless a computer algorithm was in place to lower Trump's votes as a function of percent of Republicans in the precinct. Now, you know, this and again, I mean, I'm a Trump guy. I'm not gonna, but I'm trying to look at this objectively, just kind of through math and how improbable a lot of this stuff is. Um, and when you get into this algorithm stuff, I mean, I didn't download anything here that went into that. I kind of just wanted to show more um, math and probabilities and stuff. Especially, this is just kind of the starter here, where it goes over, Benford's law, and this compares it to Enron. So, if you're doing an audit on Enron and you're looking at this Benford's law and you see this little how it goes down, then up, then down, and up, it's just a red flag to say something's going on. Okay, something's going on here. Something doesn't make any sense. So this is the first. You could just call it a red flag. Okay. There's enormous difference in how much one fails to conform to Benford's versus the other. Biden first digit frequencies are significant. And then it goes on to, um, I think the explanation might be here that numbers beginning with one occur almost 30% of the time in a list of numbers that are distributed what? Logarithmic, logarithmically, such as house numbers. The higher the number, the less it occurs, to the point where numbers that begin with 9 occur less than 5% of the time. It's useful for checking fraudulent behavior. For example, finding out if people made up a number in their tax return forms. However, use the list to determine an election, blah, 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 blah. So, yeah, I mean, so basically it's a lot of anomalies that are going on here. Trump is basically following Benford's law. Biden's not. Biden's definitely not. Here, it goes up, and it's like really weird here. Here's Trump, where it's relatively decent. Um, here again, Biden, it's up, down, and then it even goes up at the end. Um, Here, Trump is pretty much following it, down, 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 and here again, it's just not following it. So a lot of weird stuff. A lot of weird stuff going on. So there's a lot of this going around with this Dominion system. That data is actually sent. I think it's by AWS, Amazon Work Solutions, something like that. That goes to, I think it's Spain and then Frankfurt. So a lot of this data is being offshored before it comes back, and it's not just. I mean, a lot of places do that too. I mean, a lot of these places offshore shit. Um, a lot of companies offshore data. So it's not to say it's not uncommon, but it's just for a U.S. election, I would kind of think that's a little strange that you wouldn't want to have control of your own data. Um, just it's really weird stuff that's going on, and again, it's something that really needs to be looked into to the point where you're talking about whether or not people are going to actually believe the integrity of the election. Now, I don't believe this is the first time some kind of shenanigans went on. I'm sure it's probably happened before in smaller races that people really the whole nation's not paying attention to, and mainstream media is really not paying attention to. Generally, if it's a local race or something, it's one state, and you don't really get too much coverage of it, especially locally. So if you're in New York, you're probably not going to hear too much about the Senate race in Idaho. So it's really easy to kind of fudge stuff there as well. But nobody really knows what's going on until you dig into this. And I think there's a lot of issues that are going on that I don't really want to get into. I just kind of wanted to get into the statistical probabilities that something's definitely off here, and kind of needs to be looked into. So yeah, definitely some strange stuff. Uh, and again, I mean, I don't even. You can go if you just search Google Benford's Law. I mean, it's pretty straightforward. And if you just go to YouTube and you put in Dr. Shiva, his channel will come up. So not hard to find these people. And you can kind of look at just an idea what Benford's Law looks at, and you can, again, a lot of this stuff, if you just put in Trump Benford's Law, Biden Benford's Law, you can, I'm sure you can come up with videos and pictures. And if you put in go to YouTube and put in Dr. Shiva, I think he's got about an hour long video, but you got to kind of watch the whole thing because it really explains everything from beginning to end. So you kind of can't just like skip to certain parts. I think it's beneficial just to watch it. But yeah, I don't know what's going to happen in the future. It's a little strange right now. I mean, let's see, the election was the 3rd, so you're over a week, probably a week and a half now past election day, and even though some of these news places called it, um, when you have pending lawsuits and recounts and that kind of stuff, it's you just kind of don't know. And I think the Al Gore stuff, Bush Gore stuff, went on for 37 days. So I mean, you're talking a month and a week. So I don't think this is going to get resolved anytime soon. I think this is probably going to dig into December at least. So I think when you come around for Thanksgiving, which is in 2 weeks, um, it's you're going to be still kind of up in the air. You might be a little closer. I think Trump said that he was going to announce something next week. Um, but I think you got the feds looking into this. There was a rumor that the army or somebody and um, they went into the wherever the place in Frankfurt was where this stuff ends up before it comes back over. I think they from what now again I don't know if it's 100% true, but I think they confiscated the servers there from the company. So again, don't know if it's true. I know one of the one of the reps was mentioning that that's where he got the information. So somebody in former intelligence told him that. So all these lawsuits and this because look here's the thing, okay. um Grandma voting in the election, a couple of grandmas that have been dead voting in the election, 50 people voting in the election, it's not going to overturn anything, okay. So let's kind of get that clear. I mean, um somebody saying that I've noticed that this person that was born in 1900 voted in the election. I mean, none of that's going to change it. What's really going to change it is ballots that came in at 4 in the morning. Technically, according to Michigan law, shouldn't be counted. Um, I think ballots have to be received by 8 p.m. on that Tuesday to be counted, the third. Um, so I think that's something that's kind of strange. I think that's something that holds water. Um, you know, there's I think 200 and some signed affidavits. Some of them saying that a guy took a stack of 50 ballots and scanned it like 5 times or say a lot of weird stuff going on to that effect. But again, the little stuff really isn't going to do much. I think the meat and potatoes of this whole thing, and you again seeing these numbers, um, is this voting system and switching. So I think a lot, and again, I mean, I kind of want to err on the side of caution as to what the ultimate outcome of this is going to be, because again, I don't want to say either way. I mean, it could go either way. It really depends. But um, I got to say that the bigger fish is this voting system, and a lot of these lawsuits and things are just kind of a delay. I think you have to delay because I think going through and again, I'm not a coder, I'm not a programmer, I don't know, I kind of get how some of this stuff works, but um, you know, I think even to somebody in IT, I think it's going to take some time to figure it out. Um, I just can't see how Biden was more popular than Obama. Obama, and I remember this in 2008. I did not like John McCain. I hated. He was. When I thought of John McCain, I'm like, this is a guy that it's part of the Bush going into Iraq oil bullshit, and I did not like McCain. And I said, you know what? Now I didn't vote, but I was actually rooting for Obama because I thought he was genuine in what he was saying. Um, and he was pretty popular. I mean, young, half black, half white guy. I mean, he was a young guy, at least compared to other presidents at the time. I think a lot of people didn't like Bush. Um, he he got us into Iraq, he got us into Afghanistan. Oil prices went up. I mean, he just, I think he was, the recession, that big recession into the whole housing market crash and shit happened under him. People did not like that guy, and I think Obama came in as a breath of fresh air, and I think the enthusiasm was huge. And to say that he got what 10, 12 million less votes than Biden did, and to add to that, Biden goes out to these rallies. There's nobody there but press. He can't get two sentences off without sounding like that he doesn't know what he's talking about. Um, he doesn't know what office he's running for. I mean, even if you're a diehard Republican, you really got to think about that because, you know, things under Trump, like the guy personally or not, weren't too bad. Low unemployment for everybody, blacks, Hispanics, whites, Asians, everybody, low unemployment. Stock market was huge. Your 401ks. Um, I mean, geez, he's gotten what, 3 or 4 peace deals done. Um, he put Iran in their place. You haven't been hearing shit from Iran except for the occasional tweet from whoever the guy is. North Korea, I don't even know if they had a missile test. Can't remember the last time they had a missile test. So, on a world scale, okay, um, North Korea's quiet, Iran's quiet, you know, the coronavirus bullshit. I mean, I don't know how anybody can blame anybody because if you look, everybody's fucking struggling with it. It's not just the U.S. Everybody is. Oh, they have free health care and here they're still fucking struggling with it. Canada, wherever, it's like everyone's having a problem. Europe's already locking back down again for months. Germany, UK, they're all getting killed over there with the virus. Everyone's getting hit. So I don't know how why the blame went from China to now it's all Trump's fault. It just doesn't make any sense. And um, I wouldn't even say I'm a Republican. I'm pretty much in the middle, but I'm a Trump guy because I like the policy. I don't like him tweeting all the bullshit a lot. I mean, I think if he would just, not tweet, I don't think the media would be as bad on him. I think he brings a lot of that stuff on himself. I'm not going to lie. Um, you know, yeah, you had for 4 years the media pounding on you. Yeah, it's tough. Mainstream media, Facebook, Twitter. It's not just the TV. It's Facebook, it's Twitter, all the other bullshit. So, well, I kind of going off the rant of the math stuff. So I think I'm gonna kind of close it up here. Um, so just again, my closing thoughts again. You know, just the probability of what's going on is just so ridiculous. It shouldn't even be shouldn't even occur. It's just something I don't know what's going on. Again, I'm not going to start um, going through every single thing that people are saying, but I think a lot of if you want my opinion, a lot of this stuff points to the voting system. Something's up because software can be easily manipulated. And there's a video. I played it. I think it was Hannity had played it last night. There was a guy from Princeton testifying to the I don't know if it was the House committee or something, but it was in 2017. And he basically said how easy it is to hack these systems and to switch votes and to change votes. And he was able to even write a program that didn't really take much effort to do. Um, to do just that. And I guess anybody that can really code um, could also do something similar. So I mean, you take that for what it's worth, but I mean, I don't think this is helping anybody. Unfortunately, I don't think this is really helping anybody out at all. I think as a nation, I think we need to at least at a minimum get to the bottom of this because first and foremost, I think you need to trust the process. And if you can't trust the election process, then why even bother voting? If the fix is in, I remember going to the horse track a lot and going back. Um, you knew uh, some of the races were fixed. I mean, it was obvious. So I remember when we used to lose, we used to say, "Yep, the fix was in," and yeah, you're right. It's like so. Well, I think that's it for now. Yeah, I might do another video as things kind of progress. I didn't really want to get into the other stuff just because I kind of wanted to show how mathematically impossible it is to occur what occurred. It really doesn't make any sense. So, and I could say, I mean, if I told you and you were say a Democrat and I said, hey, um, I just came back from the future and Trump got 8 million more votes than he did against Hillary, and you would probably, as a Democrat, throw in the towel. I mean, I would. I would say, shit, there's no way. Because I would say, hey, my guy hasn't even been out there, rallying or doing anything. He's in his basement. He's not doing shit. He comes out for a little bit, and sometimes most of the time he comes out, he's just, yammering and going and yelling at Trump about Trump. He's not discussing policies or what he's going to do or how he's going to do certain things. All he's saying is how Trump's bad and he's going to overturn everything that Trump did. And, you know, let's not forget about his son, who is a crackhead. I mean, there's proof. I mean, there's a picture of him with a crack pipe, and he got discharged from the army for coke or something. So, I mean, that's pretty self-explanatory. You got to judge everybody by their character. And I think you know Trump definitely means well. Again, I think his policies of you know um, curbing illegal immigration, whether or not you like it, it's illegal. Um, it's funny because when they were doing the refugee thing in Europe, and I think they were whenever they would send refugees to Poland, they would go right to Germany because they're not going to get anything out of Poland. So even though Poland is safe, they would just go to Germany so they can get free shit. Well, it's the same thing that they're doing, here. Not to kind of go off on a tangent, but you're leaving Honduras or whatever country, and you're coming through Mexico, which is a relatively safe country, to get to another safe country. Well, you're not going to Mexico because you're not going to get free shit in Mexico. Here, you're going to get free shit. You'll get food, you'll get clothes, you'll get a roof over your head, you'll get a driver's license. They'll give you everything here if you're illegal. You know, it's kind of so why go to Mexico? So his Trump's the whole policy of stopping these caravans. Uh, because they know they're not going to be able to get in here. They would have to look for asylum first in whatever country that was deemed safe. That all ended. No more caravans, nothing. All that shit stopped. Um, the China shit, I mean, rough on China, bringing jobs back here. That's why unemployment's so low. Um, and even now, everyone's hiring. Target, $15 an hour. Lowe's is hiring, $15 an hour. Everybody wanted $15 an hour jobs. Well, guess what? They're out there, but no one wants them. Nobody wants them. So, yep, it's definitely very weird times we're in. I'm not sure where we're going to go from here. Um, you know, hopefully, at the minimum, we're going to get a bottom. We're going to get to the bottom of this whole election thing because, quite honestly, it just something stinks, and I think we really need to figure out what it is. And I think that, if we cannot trust the integrity of the election here, if we cannot be sure that things aren't being done that is fraud or illegal or whatever you want to call it, then we may as well just be another banana republic at this point. May as well be just another banana republic. I mean, that's the long and the short of it. This is shit that happens in Cuba, Venezuela, all these kinds of, these countries that's why they call them banana republics, Panama, whatever, this is what happens there. And if this is what we're going to become, I think it's that we're this could be the turning point, where we fall, just like Rome, just like Rome fell. We're not too far from that. Um, so yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I'm gonna cut it off here. So I don't know. Again, I don't know if I'm gonna do another video. I just bought a PlayStation 5, so I'm gonna probably go play around with that. Um, but best of luck and stay safe.